Now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to another Hack City Mailbag here on Thursday, March 28th. I don't know what date it is anymore. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today, we're going to be answering some fantastic questions from our listeners that we have, as well as predicting who we think are going to be the biggest breakout teams in college football for the FBS and FCS levels in 2024. We've got a couple other dumb topics that we're going to get to, particularly one regarding Jimbo Fisher that really caught my attention. Sean, how are we doing today?
We're doing okay. MLB opening day. It's finally here. Something else that I can wager on. The tournament is here, okay? College basketball is going down. It's all fun, and everyone's having fun. But what I did today, I went and I placed some futures for the upcoming MLB season. Why wouldn't I? The Nats are getting over 65.5 wins, you losers.
No,
and you know what? The Phillies are getting under 90. And I'm just smashing these. Just
Bad
like,
picks.
hey,
You're losing your money on that.
I know in 9 months, I'm just going to be sitting in money. I can't wait. Regardless, BetOnline is where I'm doing it at. You can access all the up-to-minute wagering, all the stats, all the information. Head to BetOnline today. Get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
All right, we're going to be getting to the stupid mailbag questions that we had sent to us at the very end of the show, but I want to start us off. Of course, we have to do a college football topic. We can't just jump right into the messiness. I thought of this segment would be fun, and what I mean by breakout teams, surprise teams, are a team that isn't necessarily on our radar right now that could have a really strong 2024 year. I'm not saying that they're going to go on a run to win a national championship, but end up being one of the better teams on the college football landscape. The teams that I thought of were Missouri this past year. They were completely out of nowhere. I think a lot of people sold them out and assumed that they were going to be bad. Louisville is a really good example of one of these teams because they brought in their new head coach, Jeff Brom. Nobody was really sure what to expect. There were a lot of transfer portal guys that they brought in, and they still managed to find their way in the ACC championship game. So, Sean, I'm going to let you start us off here first. Who is the first FBS team that you think could be a huge surprise in 2024?
I'm glad you thought of this topic, and I'm glad you find it fun because this is kind of torment for me because every time I give mine, you let me lead. And then you judge
terrible
hell out of it, just like you're doing before I even give my first one. Yeah. And then it's like,
be better.
Save your gear. And then I'm coming in to save it. All right. Regardless, my first pick. Why not Texas A&M? Texas A&M better this year. Give me Mike Elko. Give me the Aggie land. All their shenanigans. They're going to be better this year. They have to. And I'm not trying to make it a Texas A&M centric episode because Jimbo's got his own thing going on. But finally, there's an adult in the room in College Station. Feels that way. It felt like there was an adult coaching a football team at Duke when Mike Elko was there. And that's all that Texas A&M needs. They can recruit. They can always bring in talent, but it's hard to rein it in sometimes there for whatever reason. I think it's a weird culty vibe. That's their vibe. That's not my vibe. But I believe that Texas A&M it was a weak SEC last year. I don't think it gets incredibly stronger this year. If they could take advantage, they can find themselves in the 4 or 5 position at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm annoyed because you actually stole this one from me. Texas A&M was one of the first teams that I thought of with this because I think it's true to the definition of being a surprise team. Now, I think that their win total for most books is pretty high. It's like 7.5, might be 8.5. It's weirdly high for them. But I think that you bring in Mike Elko, who lowers the expectation for year one. I think there's just this automatic assumption that Texas A&M is not really a capable program, that is not going to be as good as it could be. It's not going to be in the upper echelon of the SEC. They do have a difficult schedule, which is worth noting, which every single SEC team has. But I think that you remove the drama that we were dealing with Jimbo Fisher and him being so stubborn with the play calling, his unwillingness to divert from having as much control that he did. And, you try to bring in all these different offensive coordinators, different offensive minds, and it didn't work out. What attracts me so much to him being a guy that is going to turn this roster around is the resurgence potentially of Connor Weigman, and once he's fully healthy and back. I think that he's got all the tools and showed us the traits to be a really explosive top quarterback in college football in 2024. But I also was so attracted to the fact that we've got a head coach who's defensive minded, that was aggressive defensively in the transfer portal by some of the guys that he went and got. He did attract and brought in Des Ricks, who I don't know if he's going to play, but the one for me that is the most premier and I think is going to really be unlocked because of his new situation is Nick Scourton, the defensive end edge rusher from Purdue that transferred to Texas A&M. He is a monster, and he's somebody who gets no run or recognition because he was at Purdue, and Purdue wasn't very good this year. They had a bunch of ridiculous athletes, and none of which got the run that they deserved. I think that Nick Scourton, having caught him on film at the beginning of this past year, I can say pretty confidently, I think in Elko's system and with his coaching, that he will be a first-round pick.
Wow. All right. Jeez. Oh, this dude's freaking massive.
He gives me Jared Verse vibes in the sense of new new location. No, it's just like play style, very aggressive. He's very physical.
He's got a big neck. I like that.
Yeah, he does have a big ass neck.
Jeez. All right. I like that. Yeah. Texas A&M on the rise. I'm cool with it. You want me to give my second one?
Yeah. Who you got?
Team. Michigan State getting better next year, bringing in a better coach. And it's hard to be worse than what they were during the fizzling is just what I'll call it. Where everything fell apart. They're Michigan State. I mean, the most little brother they've ever been. Bringing in Jonathan Smith, righting the ship. I loved what he did with Oregon, or Oregon State rather. That's lifetime little brother. Okay, he's used to being in that position, and he made them a better team in every year that he was there. He's a great coach. Michigan State's going to get better next year. The Big Ten will get harder. The complete flip around from the SEC, Big Ten will be harder. Michigan State, I think, competes better. I think they might even pull some crazy upset. Whatever happens, Jonathan Smith gets his guys to play hard as hell on Saturdays. And that's all I need from a coach. I've never seen Oregon State go out there under Jonathan Smith and say, they're kind of loafing. They're kind of just dozing around on the field. No, they're playing hard as shit. Oregon State played hard against everybody in the Pac-12, and that's when it was at the most competitive it's ever been. I think Michigan State does have a real shot to make some noise. I'm not saying make the CFP. I'm not a crazy person, but I think they can make some noise and really start challenging the notion that, hey, you know what? We're stepping it up. The old time is over. Now it's the time of new.
I don't mind the pick, but at the same time, I'm a little bit wary of it. And the reason why I say that is I think that there's potential, but I don't think it's realistic for Michigan State, with the state of their roster and how bad they were, to immediately be some aggressively competent and competitive team with all of these new faces in the conference. I think it would be really tough for them to just finish in the top half. But I will say, though, I like Jonathan Smith, but more importantly, I think Aiden Childs has a ton of potential as the new quarterback taking over this program. Assuming he starts, there's been so much hype around this kid being, the next big thing at quarterback. He hasn't even really touched the field very much. He comes from Oregon State. I think if he hits the ground running, and he could be kind of a bit of a spark plug, and sometimes these athletic, uber athletic quarterbacks that nobody's really used to seeing could be just enough for a team to surprise some people.
You're towing the line, Joseph, of being a Childs doubter and or non-believer. I'm just letting you know you're towing that line.
Well, I just supported him. What the hell are you talking about? You use your listening skills?
I don't know.
Your listening skills?
If he starts, he's starting, brother. You got to start him. He's electric. I'm on the train, and I'm on the train early. And
like,
then
you've seen him play.
When everyone else wants to start jumping on, they're going to know it was, freaking Sean Anderson juiced him up in late March. Get ready for the freaking the electric factory.
Yeah, man. Like, like people actually know, or like you actually have seen him play and you know what you're talking about. My last FBS team that I had for this, I really think that Syracuse is in a really strong position. And I think that they could be this year's Louisville, not because I think that they're immediately going to be in this position to be like a really good team. They have a lot of work to do. New head coach, pretty much a new roster. But their schedule is so dummy easy, and they're playing in the ACC, that there is so much potential for them to finish the year with like 9 wins. I'm going to read their schedule in a second. But the guys that they added through the portal that Fran Brown, their new head coach, was able to attract, the way that they were able to appeal to this location of recruits that's often undervalued and underfocused on in the tri-state area. He was very aggressive in trying to get recruits from that area to come play for Syracuse. I am dumbfounded some of these guys and some of these recruits that he was able to attract to go play in Syracuse. Have you ever been to Syracuse, New York?
Yeah,
he brought them there in the winter. It is miserable. It's hard. It sucks.
Why am I getting screamed at about Syracuse's inclement weather?
All I'm saying, though, is it's not like you're taking them down to Miami and you're taking them down to the beach and you're taking them to the clubs and you're saying like, man, this could be where you could be hanging out on the weekends. No, they take you to a dive bar while you're freezing your nuts off and you can't feel your face. Right. Well, see, that's the other part about this too. Every bar that you step into, it's unlike any other opportunity or any other school where you go to the bar and you see some frat guys or you see some other people that attend the university, and some might recognize you and they're just gonna be like, yeah, man, like we're really excited for what you're gonna do, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna have a couple people that are fanboys. But just imagine every wannabe journalist in the sports media program there just talking your ear off.
So how'd you
trying to get information?
Football? Was that your first sport? Or did you have some other sports that you were playing?
You should come on my podcast.
Podcast. Yeah, it's doing good. It's doing good. It doesn't sound like any other college podcasts. I don't think sound good, but mine, I really think I've got a hold of. God.
I don't know how anyone could be attracted to go here, but to my point here, they went and added Fadil Diggs from Texas A&M. Kyle McCord, I think that this is the right situation for him to kind of slide under the radar and not be as hyper focused on the way that he was at Ohio State. And this could be a new opportunity for him to arise. But there's all these SEC guys that they went and grabbed, Isaiah Hastings, Zeed Haynes that they brought in. They were so aggressive in just trying to bring in SEC caliber talent, albeit guys that were backups. And sometimes that's all you need to win in the ACC. But here is their football schedule for 2024. I'm going to read this down to you. Tell me that this is not an opportunity to win at least 8 games after they were dog shit last year. They open with Ohio. They play Georgia Tech, Stanford at home, Holy Cross, UNLV in Las Vegas, NC State, at Pitt, at home against Virginia Tech, at Boston College, at Cal, at home against UConn, and then Miami. There's 2 hard games on the schedule. There's 2.
That's a pretty cupcake schedule. I didn't
3.
know.
I'll add in Virginia Tech.
Oh,
that's 3.
That is, that's not very daunting. Hold on. Let me see here.
You avoid Florida State, you avoid Notre Dame, and you avoid Louisville.
I almost want to bet you that Michigan State gets more wins next year.
I'm telling you right now, Michigan State schedule, I've already done this. Michigan State's schedule is not as friendly as you think it is.
I'm not saying it's super friendly, but I kind of want some juice. It's March Madness. I'm looking for some juice. God.
You're not going to find any juice.
They got Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan. They could beat Iowa. They could beat Maryland.
All right, now you're just pulling. Now you're just stretching here.
I think Michigan State could get 8 wins next year.
No, don't compare Michigan State's circumstance. The Big Ten is much harder to win on a week-to-week basis than it is to win in the ACC. If you got to,
I agree, but also you're looking at Syracuse. You're telling me Syracuse has gimmies versus Pitt and NC State and Virginia Tech?
Wait. Syracuse has been competent for a long time with a much weaker roster. and they were winning.
And Sean Tucker,
7-8
he was
games.
awesome. He's an NFL player.
He went undrafted.
Yeah, but he's the best. Sean Tucker's the best. Look, I'm trying to give you a little bit of action, and for some reason you're turning down free money. It's because you're scared of the Spartans and what they could do.
Just picking random ass teams. All right, pitch me on one FCS team each. Who do you got?
All right, one FCS team. Let's talk about. I'm going to base it on returning quarterbacks because why not? Let's go with Villanova. I like that they're bringing it back. Connor Watkins. They had a really good year last year. They made a big push, and for FCS, I'm not just doing make the playoffs because there's 24 teams. I think Villanova will make the playoffs next year, but I think that Villanova could also go to the semis. They're good enough. They have a good enough quarterback, and then returning. I'm looking at these other dudes. Watkins was kind of clutch when he needed to be down the stretch. Gronowski's good. Cam Miller, There's some other guys that are all right, cool. I like Watkins, though. So I think I'm going with Villanova, maybe being a dark horse Final Four team for the FCS playoffs. I'm not cutting it at them being like 16. Higher expectations for them than anybody else really in the CAA going in, especially now that Delaware's leaving.
I like the Villanova pick. I just get so skeeved out with picking some of these CAA teams because they're so hit or miss. Because you hit like one dry run and they just completely shit the bed. One team I know that's going to stink next year is Southeastern Louisiana. We're going to move on from that thought. Have
they ever been good?
I don't think that they ever have been. I don't think they've ever been competent. I don't think they've ever been competitive.
Please don't pull out my it was a joke. It was a joke. Go pull it up the film, please.
I think that one that stands out to me, and it's not really a great surprise pick, but I think that if there's a team that pushed their way into the national championship, just like out of nowhere, it would be South Dakota. I really like Aiden Bauman and some of the things that he showed me. He checks the box of being a good FCS quarterback, which is big, white, big arm. That's all you really got to do. And you're telling me that a guy with those physical tools, that is an elite physical prowess for an FCS quarterback. That's all you really need to be good in the FCS. Now, I'm obviously kidding. I think him playing in a dome, though, is just going to help his improvement. They're still kind of figuring out lacking on what their offensive identity is, but like who are some of the playmakers outside of Aiden Bauman? That's where I kind of draw the line. But their defense is so well coached that I think that they're going to be even better next year.
They had some, but it felt like team mentality for South Dakota last year, and they made good pushes, but they got capped out at being just a really good team. They weren't a great team last year. Next year, maybe they could be a great team.
I'm sorry, Blake. I can't. I'm sorry. It was just necessary. Yeah, we did get by the way, so I tweeted this out. I don't know what.
Where'd you find that clip at? That's crazy.
So I don't know what I saw today, but something. Oh, it was going on in the former student radio chat that we're in with the WRIU guys that were talking about the article where Coach K.
Oh, you mean the circle of bosses?
Yeah. Coach K approached Dan Hurley, the now UConn coach, when he was at Rhode Island, and went up to him and said, "Hey, like you're better than this. It's time for you to move on to another program." Like total stray that was thrown at the University of Rhode Island. And it immediately popped in my head. That reminds me of when Nick Saban shit on us for no reason. And that had to have been one of the weirdest, most disorienting experiences, because it's like we're in our own completely different world, and you're watching Alabama on TV and they're competing for an SEC championship game. And you see this Providence Journal article, and he has this quote referring to us saying that Rhode Island plays for a picnic. Why did we even cross his mind? He's never played against Rhode Island.
There weren't satellite camps going on at Rhode Island and Alabama.
No.
And it was such bullshit. And I was talking about it on Twitter with Sean Antoine one day after his retirement. Yeah, I'll never forget that. It was harrowing. It was Sunday morning lift. You're just like, oh God, why us? We didn't do anything to them. We didn't have one dude. I don't even think we had a dude from the state of Alabama on our team. Some Florida.
No,
we didn't have any ties to Alabama. We don't have guys on Twitter talking about Alabama. Our coach didn't know about Alabama. Nothing. And he just uncorks that and it embarrasses us. No, screw him. Every time I oscillate with Saban. Sometimes I think he's, cool and, the last real champion of true college. And then I'm just like, he sucks. What a loser. Go sit on the lake and enjoy it. Just get out of my face. God, I never know. I just never know how I would have reacted if I met him in person. If I would have been able to be polite,
Mr. Tough Guy over here, Mr. Tough Guy. Like you're gonna get like
no. But I'm just saying, if I see I don't know if I would bring up.
He probably doesn't even remember that he said that.
Why wouldn't he? I'd remind him. Hey, why'd you bring us up? That's probably what I would ask.
He's 70. He doesn't even remember when he took a shit the day before. You think he's going to remember?
That comment happened 6 years ago, Joe.
I doubt that he remembers it.
Well,
I forget things very quickly that happened in the past year. Now,
yeah, you're a goldfish sitting in the bowl waiting for more flakes to get dropped down.
Okay, all right.
Some of us are out here trying to live.
Piece of shit. All right. I want to talk about what graced our timelines this past week. Had to have been one of the greatest things that I saw. Perfectly fits the demographic and conversations on this show. So it was thrown out there on Twitter. Somebody posted this picture of former Texas A&M head coach Jimbo Fisher, who was spotted working out at Planet Fitness. Now, it's highlighted in this tweet that he had recently been paid a $45 million buyout. I don't know if this is all in one singular payment, whatever. He's a very rich man. But the orientation of this picture, the just posture, the disheveled look, all I can think of is just divorced dad vibes. He's wearing the full Texas A&M travel gear outfit right now, which is even better that that's what he's wearing in this picture. But why is he, as this newly rich individual, actually not newly rich, already rich and even richer individual, why is he not paying for private sessions with a personal trainer? Why is it?
Look how yoked he is. First of all, that's also not.
By the way, he does look big. He does look big. That needs to be brought up.
Planet Fitness. Some of us may need there to have a good quarter. All right. So I'm not going to trash talk.
I forgot you bought Planet Fitness stock, you loser.
Look, here's the great thing about Jimbo. Looks like he just got yelled at. He almost has like a child's posture that just got yelled at for doing something bad, but they don't understand why it's bad. Like that. That's what it looks like. Like, no, you can't set matches off in the house, and he just walking back to his room. Like, I don't get it why he can't set matches off in the house. It's fun. I'm being safe. I'm doing good. Gosh, he's a mess.
Okay, so this is my thoughts, and this is alleged. I am not claiming Jimbo. Don't get mad at me. I say that this was taken at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and the night before, had some nice drinks at dinner. I think that he woke up hungover, remembered that he had the Planet Fitness membership, and decided to venture his way over there while his wife goes to work and his kids are off doing whatever. That's the vibe that I get from this.
Here's the thing. I think he's living in that Planet Fitness. Look at that arm. Look at that. He's jacked. He's got a broad chest. His shoulders.
Yeah, I don't remember him being this big.
Strong. No, I think you said, yeah, you're going to give me some FU money. I'm going to go get jacked. Why not? Maybe then I'll have some more respect when I come back and lead New Mexico to a championship. Whatever he does, I don't care what he does. I like Jimbo and I hate Jimbo. I get split right down the middle because he can be such a goofball, and then you get a picture like this that makes you all in again. I couldn't be more in on Jimbo. Give me grunge Jimbo.
Well, so that's where I'm at right now, is that I didn't like his handling of everything at the very end of his coaching career. He obviously dropped the ball. He was kind of obnoxious. He was kind of goofy. And then now that he's fired and he's done ruining Texas A&M, I like his vibe now. I kind of like that he is on this, because every adult male has been on this depression state before, where you're a little dumpy, you're a little extra heavy, you got all this extra free time, and you're It gives me post breakup vibes. That's the vibes that I'm getting.
Does have some. They don't want me. What about if I get super strong? Yeah, then they'll want me. I'm gonna start. What? Oh God, what are the terms that the children use? Is it gigamaxing? Is it mogging? Is he gonna? Do you want to mog on all the other coaches?
I don't know, man. I'm not 17.
I thought that was you, man. I thought that was you. Your fitness group talk like that.
I don't talk like that.
You were talking about cutting and bulking, so I thought that was all the other.
Those are
and
not
other things.
Those are not the same thing.
I don't know what you're into.
I want to bring this up. Another thing that I found on Twitter. Apparently, this is actually a reoccurring hashtag. So I sent this to Sean the other day. There is, and I've discovered that they've been using this for years. They've been using this since 2019, as far back as I've dated this thing. So the University of Central Arkansas, who we obviously cover and pay close attention to at the FCS level, I have discovered. So, okay, let me backtrack a quick second. When we were playing in college, we had our own hashtag. We had our own saying. Every football program with a new coaching staff has a saying that they rally around.
Try to build a mantra, try to build a culture. If everyone believes in this, then maybe we can really do something. It's a good method. It's fine. I'm for it.
Okay. So like, for example, ours was 3 more feet. Our coach told us this story before one of our games I'm not going to retell the story, but the premise was you got to keep digging 3 more feet if you want to succeed and get where you need to be. We were just falling short in a bunch of games, blah, blah, blah. It was on every single shirt. It was painted on the walls, everything. So I have discovered, and I don't know how it took us this long to discover this. This particular coach follows me on Twitter, so I am sorry, but I discovered that their slogan is hashtag Hard Bears. That has to be one of the worst slogans. And I need to know, is hard an abbreviation for something? Why is it in all caps? Why are we talking about bears with erections? That is not the direction that your program needs to be going in if you're trying to attract recruits and build a culture. I need to know the context to this.
My previous least favorite team hashtag was hashtag Who Day for the Cincinnati Bengals, because right before they rolled that out, at least for me, the Saints already had Who Dat, which that's pretty good. And I hate the Saints, but that's pretty good. Who dat? Who dat say gonna beat them Saints? Pretty good. And then I saw the Bengals come. Who day? That sucks. Hard Bears is awful. I don't want to be a hard bear. I'm not trying to do that. That doesn't give any. How about hashtag bear? How about that? And then I know what a bear is. It's a death machine. Hard bear. That's not a good. Is that an adverb? What is that? That's bad.
This is why I need to know. I need a UCA coach or player to break it down for me. I'm telling everybody here, though, anyone who's been in a college football locker room knows that there is no shot in hell that the guys on this team are taking this seriously. There's absolutely no way. It's just like when our coach said, you need to have a set of brass clangers in a meeting once. And that was the name of every single group chat that everybody created on our team. I am so stunned.
Brass clangers,
they made this.
You know, there are things that coaches really do try. If you haven't been in the locker room, you don't. Coaches try every week to hit you with something that gets you fired up. Chaboy became a joke, not a joke, but that's just something that you picked up on that didn't catch that fired you up. But it's just something that your coach said. Is Hard Bears their breakdown? Hard Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3. Hard Bears.
Rock hard on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, bricked up on 3. No, you can't. You can't have. I'm sorry. Now you just can't have hard in your hashtag now if you're a sports team. You can't have anything that may be perceived in this overly sexualized, porn-brained nature. You don't understand how many people in our age range and younger just inundated with it. You can't do it. Hard Bears out. Get something else in.
So the last thought on this before we move on. All I can think of, though, is how none of the premier FBS teams ever have slogans this bad. We don't encounter I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I think they've taken a lot of the good ones. Because
so my thought though is that I wonder, do you think that the added resources in the expanded marketing departments, that there's maybe some sort of outsourcing to some consulting companies to better prepare for these? Because I can tell that there was no thought put into hard bears. I can tell that there was very little thought. But do you think that there is a market of consulting? And I would argue if there's not, maybe we should provide our services to. It's just a yes or no. It's horny or not horny. That's the yes or no.
We'll give you the meter. I think this is exactly how I think it went down. Right. I think it is true. I think that the FBS players or FBS teams, they do have a department that handles all this. Hey, this sounds good. This is what we're going with. Pass it with the coach. Coach likes it. Everyone on board. Symbiotic. Pulling the rope in the same direction. Good. This is how this went down at UCA. It went, all right, guys, let's try to figure something out. And then social intern, whatever, gives a good idea, like bear up or bear down. I know those are probably taken, but something like that. It's pretty good. And then some coach just said, that's dumb. What are we, animals? No, if we're going to be animals, we're going to be cool. We're going to be hard bears. And then since coaches have coach brain, they don't really think in reality a lot. They think in football. And they're kind of maxed out on the alpha brain. So that's all they're thinking about is chainsaws. This
was a D-line coach, by the way.
It was definitely a D-line coach.
Yeah.
That decided, my bears on the D-line are hard. And that's what and you know what? Your group isn't hard. So why are you trying to make the call for the hashtag? And I think it went way deeper. And the best idea was completely scrapped. And coaches argued about it for about, I'd say 40 minutes to an hour. That's how
I could probably I could commit to that being it was probably over conversed but not thought out. They probably talked about it, but nobody realized that what this was. Okay, we're spending too much time on this.
I don't think we're spending enough.
You wanted to talk about the new Roadhouse movie. I kind of want to bypass this to get into the mailbag questions because I haven't seen the new Roadhouse movie.
Oh, it's
Did you watch both of them?
I'll be quick with it. I'll try to keep it about under 2 minutes here. Watch the new Roadhouse movie with Gyllenhaal and McGregor. I'll say this: McGregor stole the show. He carried the movie. Tons of fun. It was tons of fun. Plot a little more believable. And then after that, I watched the original Roadhouse, 1989. That stunk. That movie stunk. And
really? I remember loving the original one.
Oh my God. It was the first time I've actually said, wow, this looks dated. Because I try to give older movies a chance because I realized that for that time period, that's probably the best technology that they had. It's probably the best creatives that they had. Whatever. I give them an honest chance. That first Roadhouse was just it was confusing. It was dawdling. And at times it was just so nonsensical that I was like, what am I watching? What am I doing this? Patrick Swayze didn't have one frame of good hair either. Not one frame. And he's got an Audi belly button.
That was the vibe back then. What adult male has an Audi belly button?
I'm telling you, and what adult male as the sex figure that he was has the Audi belly button. If you watch it, there's a scene where he's laying back down on his barnyard roof and he's looking over the pond at the villain, and he's got the Dr. Clay with him, and I'm just sitting there the whole time looking like, why's he got an Audi? What's he doing with an Audi?
I'm surprised that the producers of this film didn't step in and say, hey, we got to push that thing in. We got to,
I think as a man with an Audi belly button, it's a little bit promiscuous. Tuck that thing in. What are you doing? But yeah, I like the new Roadhouse more than the old Roadhouse for sure. That movie stunk. I won't watch it again. This new one, I might watch again. I think you should watch it, Joe.
Mailbag questions that we have. First one from Bison Rants. If at Sanderson Radio and Joe DeLeone attended a Rhode Island post-game picnic, we've already addressed this. How many sandwiches could they put? I dropped my phone. How many sandwiches could they put away, and which one would be their favorite? You want to answer this?
Okay, so in the hypothetical that we did have picnics after the games at Rhode Island, I'd probably be pretty peckish from standing on the sideline the whole time. So I mean, typically I'm a simple, Italian sandwich type of dude. That's what I am. But that's not picnic. That's not a picnic sandwich. I go like a ham and cheese or a hot dog. Hot dog at the picnic over a picnic burger, chips, maybe like a barbecue Utz, and then the drink. I don't know. You got sweet tea, Joe? You got sweet tea in the cooler? No. Okay.
Nah, this is Rhode Island. You think they got
Yeah.
sweet tea? No,
God.
there's no way.
I'll probably just have a water then. I don't know. Water, maybe some type of fruity soda.
You know what I just kind of remember? Do you remember how after the spring game we used to do that thing where everyone would kind of like they'd make hot dogs and burgers and stuff, and then like right after the game we would just all end up like all of our families and stuff. I just realized that we basically would have a picnic after our spring games.
That's a spring game though. I don't recall.
I mean, but yeah, that never happened in the regular games. But like, I don't know what was that big-eyed look you just made.
Everybody in my life is trying to play Mario Kart, and I told them I was going to be indisposed from 7:20 to 8:30, and I've gotten nonstop texts and calls. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to live in a world with this much disrespect. Regardless, I think I'm going hot dog. Hot dog, some type of barbecue chip, and a soda.
All right, question from I can't talk. Question from Reddit FCS, our good friends over there. Who would Sean pick in a fight between Joe and his doppelganger over at Missouri State Student Newspaper? Relevant thread below if you missed it. So I'm not going to throw the picture up on here, but
why not, Joe?
Because I didn't. It's going to take me too long to like clip it and pull it up. I believe his name is William P. Bolin. I went and followed him on Twitter a while ago, but Reddit FCS went and tagged me in this poor kid's has no idea what's going on. Your thoughts on that? Yeah, there's the kid. There's the picture.
I mean, that's
kid.
damning. That's damning.
I wasn't that skinny and I didn't have those glasses in college, but I guess
you have those glasses. You have the exact same glasses now. And somehow, and I'm not saying this as like a, I'm not trying to joke on it or anything, but you both have that one thing with the one tooth on the left side. There's one.
I didn't even notice that.
I
didn't even notice that.
Point attention to it or say it's a bad thing, but you both have that.
Oh, that's unsettling.
You might have to have a conversation with Papa DeLeone and see what the hell's been going on, because this guy he looks more like your brother than your actual brother.
Damn, I don't know. This is disorienting. I never really even I got tagged in this and I kind of joked around, but I never really looked at this. This is disturbing. What's the answer to your question to the question though? I don't know what this kid's height is.
I think this Bolin kid's got a strong chin. I think he's got a strong chin. I think you might have a chin made of glass.
What? Oh,
I saw a coaster give you the work one time.
No, you make that up every time. You make that. He charged at me like I almost used a word that I shouldn't use, a deranged bull, and whiffed. I stepped out of the way and he ran into the wall. That was what the extent of that was. So let's
I bet my boy Willie Bolin takes that right on the chin and gives it pops coaster right in the top of the head. I don't know. That would be a great fight. I mean, Joe did play football though. I got to give Joe credit for playing football. I've seen him in a weight room. I have.
Shut
up.
What
do you mean?
Shut up! Don't patronize me. Shut up!
I'm not patronizing. I'm trying to give an honest answer.
Patronizing.
You know what? Screw you. Yeah, you don't want me in your corner. I'll go be in Willie's corner. Me and him. Me and Bolin versus the world.
You don't know if he's a Willie. He's a William. He's a William.
Well, if he's in my corner, he's Willie.
I'm realizing something now. We're gonna get to Chester's questions in a second. I sent this morning. Yesterday, that the chat was very active with our good friend Rack. I'm not gonna say his full name. I refuse to. And we posted the polling for questions this morning. No questions from Rack. No comments in the chat from Rack. I sent this morning this tweet from Tour Golf on Twitter that reads, 2 golfers in Idaho were arrested today for being caught smoking weed on the course. Apparently, other golfers picked up on the smell and notified the police. The cops caught them on hole 14. There's this hilarious picture of a police car that is in the middle of the fairway. Do we think Rack was the individual smoking weed? He is gone. I have not heard from him.
I'll say this. He's been getting called out in the stream tonight. Where's Rack? Where are the fellas? Hey, Chris, did you forget we were going live tonight? What happened here, brother? Because this is damning. The first live back, and no Chester, no Rack, no mixing it up, chopping it up. We got luminaries in here asking for you, making us look like assholes.
All right, well, let's get to Chester's questions, and then we'll wrap up so you can go play Mario Kart with your lame friends.
They are lame. I'm not trying to be lame right now.
Chester's first question for this draft class: if the quarterbacks were cereal mascots, what would they be? Okay, so let's do the top 5. Okay, Caleb Williams. I feel like
I'll go Tony the Tiger.
No, I feel like Tony the Tiger is JJ McCarthy because JJ McCarthy's Tony the Tiger because they both kind of give this really the lights are on but nobody's home kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
I have JJ McCarthy as Captain Crunch.
No,
because
Captain Crunch would be Bo Nix.
But you end up cutting your mouth all the whole bowl because he keeps on hurting you with his interceptions.
But I would argue that it'd be better for Bo Nix to be Captain Crunch because it's just like you see him all over the place, but he's really underwhelming. I think that's the better
You think
one.
Captain Crunch is okay? We can't get into cereal debate.
Okay,
so I'm taking Caleb Williams as Tony.
Well, Jaden Daniels is the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't know what those things are called, but those cereal man. No, not the cinnamon stick.
He's the yeah.
Because they're always getting destroyed in the commercials, and Jaden Daniels has this.
Yeah, he has a knack for taking big hits.
Right, I think that one's a good one.
That one's pretty good.
Oh, Drake maybe.
Does Lucky Smacks? What am I thinking of? They have a frog. There's another mascot.
Who would
you think? Bo Nix is there anyone that's the Cheerios bee?
No, I'm getting the rabbit for tricks vibes from Caleb Williams because silly rabbit tricks are for kids, and it's kind of like he's not liked by the people in the commercial, and he is a very polarizing figure by the people in that world. I think that would be Caleb Williams. I think he is the tricks rabbit. But what would Drake May be?
Drake May. Gosh, nobody's Lucky Charms, right?
No.
I kind of want Penix as Honey Smacks because I always thought the Honey Smacks frog was really cool.
I like that one. Drake May is just one of those guys that's just there. I don't know how to describe him. He's just there. He's really good, but he's just there. He's just kind of the guy that's in the mix. Like we need a cereal. Did you look up list of cereal mascots?
I'm looking at some here.
Didn't we do a segment a million years ago of which cereal mascot would win in a free for all fight?
We got anybody as Toucan Sam?
No, not Drake May.
Okay. What about Snap, Crackle, and or Pop?
No.
Cocoa Puffs bird. I don't know if he has a name or if the bird has a name.
Cocoa Puffs. Maybe that'd be Drake. No, I don't think that's Drake May. What else we got?
I'm looking here. Gosh. All right. What about the Raisin Bran Sun?
Maybe that's Drake May. Because again, it's just kind of there. And that's it.
The search engines are going to shit. I'm seeing memes of fat Tony the Tiger and the fat Cookie Crisp Wolf. This is awful. I got deviant art going on in the look. This is terrible. God.
All right, let's go to Chester's next question.
Okay.
Sean, besides box, what was the best thing you ate on your trip? I've heard their pad thai is amazing. I wasn't going to read this originally, but the last part was great. What was the best meal you had in Japan?
Yeah, that's really a tough first line there. There were a lot of very good meals. The takoyaki, which was the octopus balls, which were very good. It was probably I don't want to
Hold
sound
on,
like a
hold
loser.
on, hold on. Octopus
No,
balls,
no,
are they
no, pieces of octopus cut up
okay?
and then put in a fried ball. That's what
Okay,
it is.
thank you for the clarification.
I'm sorry. I heard it as soon as I didn't know if you were going to try to jump on me. Regardless, the sushi dinner was great. No. It was the barbecue. It was the Japanese barbecue. You got the wagyu, you got the chicken, you got the pork.
You
Whatever
didn't
you
have any
want.
Korean barbecue when you were there?
No, I did not have any Korean barbecue.
Did you have any Chinese food?
No, and I didn't have any Thai food either. Which for some reason was that Rack or Chester or Chris?
That was
that one.
That was Chester. I have a buddy who's Japanese, or
Mhm.
he's half Japanese, and I think his mother's Japanese, and he was telling me that for some reason every time they go to Japan, his mom just ends up eating a bunch of Thai food.
Mm.
I don't know. That's why they caught my attention, because apparently that's a thing.
Here's the
It's
thing.
like not an uncommon thing that happens.
I don't know. Every meal was good after my first one. The first one was terrifying because I really didn't like it. And
What
then
was it?
it was it was a ramen, but the base of the broth was like flying fish. Like it was a specialty like flying fish ramen shop, and it had a line. And I don't know anything, so I'm just
So you just saw the line, and you got in the line.
Yeah, I'll
Oh
just go do
no!
it. And then I got in the line, but that's how I had the most fun, was just getting in lines or just walking into places like a moron. But I get in there, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just get this one. I got it. Really didn't like it. Pretended to like it, like, oh, I'm so worldly. This is fine with me. Didn't finish it. Walked out in shame, and then can proceed with my day. Like, oh my God, what if I hate all the food here? Then I figured it out. Had a hash brown from a convenience store and got my day back going. I'm not their convenience store food is miles ahead of anything that we have.
Really?
Joe, miles
Better
ahead.
than a Wawa. Have you ever been in a Wawa?
It kicks the daylights out of a Wawa. I'm talking 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson. All three of those kick the daylights out of a Sheetz, a Wawa. The only thing we have that could compare is maybe a Buc-ee's, just because their quality is matching. But it's so cheap, and you can get a McDonald's hash brown any time of the day, and they got these little cutlets of fried chicken, and they're not like fried like KFC fried, but they just got a little breading around them, and it brings life into you somehow. It does. It's just American enough to satiate that craving, but just Japanese enough for it to be like, oh wow, this is impressive.
It's a good business idea. Would be recreating a Japanese convenience store, but not making it Japanese. Like the aspects of it that you're talking.
They would do, because the and Bourdain said it. The one thing that he couldn't stop eating when he was over there was the Lawson egg salad sandwiches, because they make it with the Japanese mayo egg salad, and somehow the bread it's like so mechanically made. All the crust is always off. They're in these little triangles. It's perfect. Like the convenience store food over there is perfect. I think it's I'll check out other places, but for everywhere I've been, it's lapped everywhere in convenience store food.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. It's the last of our questions. We'll be back sometime next week. I have to go to a wedding, which is going to suck. At Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. Hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, hit the like button as well, and then leave us a 5-star review if you're tuning in on audio. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. We'll talk to you later.